Hey, this is Matt once again with about 10 videos, another paid request, this time for Michael. Thank you so much for that, and for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a 1972 film called The Other, which I had heard of, but I had never got around to seeing. It's directed by Robert Mulligan, who is the same guy that directed the original To Kill a Mockingbird from the 1960s. And the film takes place in 1935, and you have these identical kids, and one is called Niles, one's called Holland. And the first chapter of the film is kind of more of a drama, more of this kid kind of enjoying his life, and he's got his uncle, his mom, his pregnant sister, her hubby, played by a very young John Ritter, who's not in the film too much, and their grandmother, who's an immigrant, who teaches the kid the game. This gift that apparently their family has, although I guess only her and the kid have and nobody else does in the family has, about, here's a bird, feel into its head, its heart. And he's watching from the bird's point of view, the eyes, and he can project his mind into others. These accidents start happening, and you're thinking, okay, is it Niles? Is it Holland? What's going on here? And how do I go forward without spoilers? The film, I thought, was kind of well made, but still kind of meh for me. The twist I kind of predicted. There's definitely some images are a bit haunting. It's always nice to hear a bit of score by Jerry Goldsmith. It's not a bombastic score. It's not a score that's one of his best. But it's nice to hear that, including this very creepy whistling theme at the end of the film. I thought the kid actor did a good job. In fact, both of them, because they got twins, they both did a good job. One, Niles, seemed like the very sweet, lovable kid that you can see why people trust and like and want to take care of. But Holland has a little bit more attitude to him. It's definitely a slow burn film. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It wasn't a bad film. I just didn't think it was that compelling of a film for me. For me, at least. Because the cinematography's not bad. It makes it feel like it's the 30s, and although I doubt things were this happy in the 30s, with the Great Depression and all that stuff going on, but it's supposed to be kind of this, not majestic, but, thing, childhood innocence, and then slowly this thing is going to happen where things aren't as great and sweet as they appear to be. But it's one of those things where the acting's not the problem. I thought the woman that played the immigrant grandmother, she was naive, but at the same time she seemed like a sweet grandma. The mom, she's definitely had some issues because of the dad has died from a freak accident, among other stuff which I'll get into. But I guess it also helps or hurts on whether you can predict the twist or not. I gotta go into spoilers. You come to find out that the twin kids are twins. One's been dead for a long time. And the reason I kind of predicted a bit of that is, number one, they would only talk to the one kid. No one really talked to the other kid. You say, well, because he's an outsider or he's tough to deal with, but nobody ever talks to this other kid. And the way the director films it, he films it where all the time it's either on Niles or it's on Holland. They're never in the same frame. I respect the director for doing that because he's not trying to cheat the audience. Like, he's not trying to lie to the audience. Does you see two kids? Yeah, okay, we see two kids, but we see one or the others because it's either him or maybe him projecting his brother, thinking he's talking to him. So I appreciate the director for, not doing that. But because doing that, I'm like, okay, very beginning, they're obsessed with this ring, and this ring was buried. And then it's talking about how this ring, their dad had it, but then it was given to this other brother, the older brother, Holland. But then you're thinking, well, they're so obsessed with this ring, and why do they keep hiding it? Why do they keep saying, well, you need to hide it? If this other brother had it, Holland, and it's his ring, oh, okay, I just gave it to you, why would they be so scared of hiding it? No, there's something else to it. Also, the fact that, like, John Ritter, I wish he was in the film more, but, I'm a fan of John Ritter. The sister never talks to Holland. The mom, like, nobody ever talks to this kid. Even the grandmother. She'll mention Holland, but not a single person ever talks to this person. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a reason for that. There's got to be a reason for that. Especially if he's the one causing all this ruckus or trouble, supposedly. And then also, it's not this film's fault, but there's another film I saw that did this kind of thing. Although if I mention the title, it'll be a spoiler. Well, I guess there's another film. I'm debating because if I say the title, then it's going to be a spoiler for that film. There's another film that was about two sisters, and then they remade it, I believe, for the U.S., and the film starts with the letter U. That way to be vague on it. Fuck it. A Tale of Two Sisters, and it was remade to be, I believe, The Uninvited. I had seen that film, The Uninvited, so that had a similar twist. Granted, went a little bit different way, but it's a similar twist where here's a sister, but she's been dead the whole time, and she just visualizes it. So either A is supernatural, it's the ghost, or more so B is a schizo kid that his dad had died, and then his brother, spoilers, had fell into this well, and he had died. So that probably made him lose his mind, and because his gift that the grandma is teaching him, he visualizes his brother as being alive. And then if something bad happens, he blames it on him and not himself. But because it's a slow burn, I will admit, I got a bit antsy. Because I kind of figured where it was going, kind of waiting for the movie to catch up. And, the cinematography and the acting wasn't too bad. But there's really nothing horrific at all about the first half of the film. It's barely kind of a drama of a kid just being in this area, talking with his brother, enjoying his life, messing with the neighbor, talking with his grandma, talking a little bit of this gift called the game. Not Triple H, the game. It's the game. And these accidents. And the accidents you don't see much about. It's not a gore movie at all. It's not about the deaths at all. It's not the Omen or anything. So like one kid who's being an asshole, he jumps, but he doesn't realize he's jumping onto a pitchfork. You hear a scream, then you see a coffin. So you put two and two together what happened. The neighbor gets a heart attack because the kid pulls out a rat, and the neighbor hates rats. And then finally, halfway through, about 45 minutes into it, the mom finds his ring and confronts the kid, and the kid tells about his brother, and the mom is trying to, she's already a recluse, she's already freaking out, so one leads to the other, the mom falls down the stairs, she gets paralyzed. She's bedridden. Takes forever for the grandmother to figure out what's going on, and then tries to tell the kid, "No, your brother's dead. Here's the grave," and the kid doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't want to confront it, and he still makes us believe that his brother's alive. And like I said, other than that, it just wasn't that. It wasn't creepy or scary or compelling of a story for me, at least. It was well acted. Wasn't badly shot. I don't know why they put in this whole segment with there's this freak show and the kid gets scared. Other than there's this trap door which the kid says, "Oh, that's a fake." And I think that might have led into they might have killed the dad back in or something. I can't remember. Sorry, I should remember. I know, but the movie's already leaving me. It just wasn't that interesting to me of a movie. I apologize to Michael. I'm sitting there knowing it's not that I need ADD action, horror, explosions. I love the Changeling of George C. Scott, but that one I'm invested with the character. I'm invested with the story. I like the images of like the wheelchair coming to life and the ball dropping down the stairs. It just to really have that. Like I said, if you go into this thinking it's a horror film, there's nothing really about it until like over halfway through the film, and even then, there's one bit I would say in the finale where super spoilers, a baby's missing, which that's why I'm surprised John Ritter was not a part of this more because I think it's his baby, his and the sister's baby is missing. And then they find the baby in this like barrel, and someone opens it. You see the top of the baby's head that's been drowned in this wine barrel thing. You just see the top of the head, and that is a very creepy image. And then the grandmother finds out what happened, and she makes this really dumb decision of, that's another thing that really rubbed me the wrong way. She knows the kid's fucked up. She knows that the kid has his gift, but I guess the gift is just him imagining his brother alive. But you could do that without the gift. So that's what I mean by this whole thing with the game was not really that, in my opinion, properly implemented into it. Because they make it a point to literally say that you project mind into others. But what is that really put into use? Okay, a pitchfork is in the barn. The character just put it there and left. If he was forcing the kid to jump, even though he knows it's there, that'd be a different matter. Or if he controlled his mom to fall down the stairs. But that's not really the case. It's not really that kind of thing. So you can really take that out and just be this kid's schizo. He visualizes his brother's alive because of the stress of his dad dying and his brother now dying, falling down a well. Boom, his mind has been split. He imagines his brother's alive. So this whole power, why? And the grandma taught him it. It didn't really need to be in it. It didn't really fulfill anything. It didn't really accomplish much of anything in terms of the plot. There's really, like, if you took that out, not much would change. You just don't, yeah, he's schizo. And, like, what else is this power implemented upon? There's really nothing I can think of. So, the grandma, she feels it's her fault. She was naive. She gets a lantern, sees the kid down, and it's like in a barn or something. She tosses the lantern, falls into it. There's a puff of fire. But all it led to was her stupidly killing herself. The The kid's alive, and it's a creepy last shot. He's out the window staring with this very weird but creepy whistling motif. And it's a nice way to end your movie. And a lot of 70s films are very bleak. The the bad guys win, the good guys lose. That's definitely a typical 70s motif. Which is not my cup of tea, but you know, it can be effective when it needs to. But just one of those scenes where, why did you do that, you stupid motherfucking grandmother bitch? Why'd you do that shit? Like, you didn't even make it. You, you won't be absolutely certain that you even got the kid, who you know is killing people and murdering people, including a baby. When you want to make sure that kid is dead front and center, first off, and then you could go burn yourself and whatever. What you did was stupid. They didn't accomplish anything. If they want to make it seem as if the kid controlled her to do it, they didn't, because the kid's begging, no, no, please don't do it. So the grandma did it on her own volition. It just seemed like she was a fucking idiot. I'm going to jump in here, burn myself. Maybe the kid gets burned. Maybe it doesn't. Oh well, I'm dead anyway. So, good job, you idiot. It just made her a fucking moron. So, I don't know. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. There's other slow burn films I like Session 9 quite a bit. And that's not the happiest of endings, but I do like Session 9 quite a bit. I like, I mentioned the Changeling, George C. Scott. There's other ones, Legend of Hell House, Roddy McDowell. There are slow burn movies that I do enjoy. This just wasn't one of them. I appreciate the acting. I wish John Ritter was in it more. I think the two kids did a good job. So did the grandma. But it's, I thought at times very boring. The whole power angle seemed unneeded at the end of the day. It's not really that creepy until maybe the final parts of the movie. And like I said, just not as compelling or memorable as compared to other movies, especially of his time period. So, of the 70s. But that's just me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.